I'm Gina John Tony, and welcome to my Future of Higher Education Leadership Question Analysis presentation. My question is, should higher education leadership allow the use of monitoring technology, otherwise known as artificial intelligence, to track their students' social media accounts in the name of campus safety? What prompted me to ask this question? First, in our first semester of this cohort, Dr. Ramani suggested we sign up for Inside Higher Ed emails, which continually report on campus victims, sexual assault, shootings, and protests getting violent. In addition, my 10 years of training to teach the freshman learning community class, communicating topics like mental health issues, sexual harassment, and violence, immersed me into the world of campus students and their safety. Third, the COVID-19 pandemic increased occurrences of mental health issues. And then in September, I read several articles about monitoring technology used by higher education institutions to monitor student social media posts and flag anything that might be categorized as a mental health incident or a campus protest, and alert campus. So some of the information that I read during the course kind of jogged my memory as far as collaborating with the research for this paper. The first article was Who's Got the Power? Systems, Culture, and Influence in Higher Education Change Leadership by Phillips and Snodgrass. My research stated that AI threatens the balance of power between HEI leaders and students, and that they must also constantly assess society trends to meet the higher education goals. And the Who's Got the Power article also emphasized the power dynamic and how it's exercised during change. And then it also mentioned the general systems theory, explaining exchanges between internal and external environments, and that higher education leaders must scan their environment to meet higher education goals. The next article, Neoliberalism and the Crisis in Higher Education, the Cost of Ideology by Mintz, emphasized that students as customers increase competition for student amenities and student necessities. And I believe whether HE is a public good or private good, what values in education if students don't survive a campus shooting, attempted suicide, or a protest turned violent? Neoliberalism, another idea in his article, views the neoliberal view of higher education as a corporate business model that maximizes profits and cut costs, and mental health services and police services are crucial to protecting the well-being of safety of the students and can't be cut. And I kind of related that idea to the article. The third article, Leadership in Higher Education Concepts and Theories by Kazar. Kazar emphasized living in a digital network global world has increased the need for a leadership focus in areas of ethics, and my research also emphasized the same. And then last, the article, Advice for How College Leaders can Best Respond During Times of Crisis by Lane, stated that leaders' skills must include emotional intelligence, communication, and conflict management. And my research also stated that communication was a top priority in implementing AI and communicating to the campus constituents, and leaders must be able to negotiate the conflict brought up by students who feel AI's use is an invasion of their privacy. On the next slide, talk about the insights and ideas that arose upon the completion of the analysis. First of all, again, safety of students is a priority of mine. If their education won't really matter if they're mentally, physically, or emotionally abused or harmed. So the use of monitoring technology has two opposing sides. One side thinks since the monitoring is only accessing public social posts, it does no harm to students and it's used to protect students. The other side thinks that the use of monitoring technology is an invasion of their privacy, it's unethical, and impacts the students' constitutional rights. Believe it or not, when I initially started this research, I was on the opposing side of using monitoring technology. Then I slowly started to change my opinion and my stance. So now I believe since monitoring technology only monitors public social media posts, it is not an invasion of privacy and can save the life of a student on the brink of committing suicide or protect students if a protest turns violent. However, the AI research provided best practices for implementing this technology, and I only support the use of monitoring technology on campus to scan only public social media posts again, and only if leaders follow these best practices. To name a few, they can exercise transformational and digital leadership. They need to assess ethical impacts, balance the students' rights against their safety, create and communicate policies, vet the AI company for accountability and ethical practices, and engage in a constant evaluation, assessment, and revision loop. Then last, the questions that arose upon completion of the analysis. My biggest question was if my concern for the protection of the students interfered with my judgment to decide if students' rights were compromised. The second question I had was, has any research been conducted at HEIs using monitoring technology to identify the exact numbers of lives that have been saved from suicide, the number of students helped by psychological service referrals, and the number of events counted where protests turned violent? This may impact the naysayers of the use of monitoring technology. And then the third question, just a statement first, the use of monitoring technology in addition to future AI technology implementations on campuses will continue to raise these types of questions. My question is, will higher education leaders be proactive and start preparing now to research and investigate best practices for implementation at their campuses? So I would like to say end by saying that I believe higher education leaders must be ready for this since it is coming. So thank you for watching my presentation, and I have to say it's been a pleasure reading and responding to many of your very intuitive posts throughout the semester and learning from each of you. Thank you.